Hello everybody, this is Armadaninja, and I am here today to teach you guys another very valuable tutorial on how to create a bassline. So recently I've been working in After Effects. As you can see, I have a lot of Adobe programs now, and I've been working in After Effects doing a bit of tinkering. And one of my projects I was doing for school was an actual bassline, which I've always been motivated to do ever since I started watching some electro music style, and I actually came up with one. Now, this is a very rapidly made bassline, and it's going to be very quick. There's a lot of playing around you have to do in order to make it something good, and I will show you two examples. The first is something that I did in about 10 minutes, so let me show you that, and I'm just going to preview it here, and here you go. Okay, so there you have it. That is basically the basic, most simple bassline I can come up with. It didn't take me long at all. Obviously, by the squad, as the title, it wasn't very planned out. So let me now show you something that did take a little more time, and this was a day in the life video. So let's just open it up really quickly in QuickTime Player, and then we will shrink it down a little bit, and then take a look. So you get the main idea. I don't need to show you the entire thing. If you want to check out the entire video, go and check out the day in the life number 11, I believe it is, and that will give you guys the full video. So today I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to make a bassline in Adobe After Effects. If you do not have Adobe After Effects, I'm not sure if it will work because this is the only program I've used. So the first thing you want to do is create a new project, and I'm just not going to save this. So once you get a new file, you're going to want to go New Composition, and you're going to want to enter your composition name. Let's just do Bassline Tutorial, and depending on how big you want your file to be, you can adjust the pixels. I recommend keeping it at 16 by 9 because that is the widescreen aspect ratio. This is where you'll see your duration of the video. Just keep it at 30 if you don't plan on, if you plan on actually making the song, the entire song, change this to song, but for now I'm just going to keep it 30. Advanced, you just want to mainly keep these the same. So we're going to create that. And we're going to get this nice little neat little thing here. So the first thing you want to do is create a new solid. So go to Layer, New, followed by Solid. And you're going to get this, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Bassline, since it keeps it more simple. So you want it to keep it the same as your project ratio. You want the same pixels, obviously, pixel aspect ratio, square pixels, and this can be whatever color you want. Actually, I choose black because I like the seamless look. So now I have this solid layer. If I move it, you won't tell the difference because the background is originally black, but you do want to make this just for the point of making it a little more condensed and easy to work with. So the next thing you want to do, obviously, is get your text or something like that. I'm just going to make a random text. It's not even going to be centered. It's going to be called Dragon Mucus. Yes, Dragon Mucus, everyone. That is the title. There it is, and I'm just going to put it right up here. So there's a lot of things you can do, as I will show you right here. If you take a look at this, in the text title itself, when you watch, it is all constantly changing. Of things, as you can see, there's a lot of things going around. There's background things moving, the particles are moving, as well as the bassline. So that's something you have to just work with and learn how to do. So I'm just gonna keep it very simple for you guys. So you have your two layers here, your text and your bassline. So that's very basic. So the next thing you want to do is you want to import your music. Go to File, followed by Import File, and then you should get to your folder where you have all your stuff in. I'm just going to use the same song I did for the previous one, and you should find it up here in your project scan, or not scan, well, drop down. So I'm just going to drag it here above Dragon Mucus, and now if I click play, you'll notice it does not work. I can't hear audio. That is because Adobe After Effects does not allow you to actually hear the audio within the presentation. So what you can do is go to Composition, Preview, RAM Preview, and as you can see, it now works fine. I can now hear the audio, and that's all good. So that's how you want to hear your audio. You can't actually make it so that you can hear the audio within the Adobe After Effects program, as far as I've so far learned. So the next thing you want to do is you want to actually get your baseline. So there are two types. You want to go over to here where you see characters and your text. You want to go to effects and presets and type in the word audio. So you'll have two things here, 32 bits each, and you'll have audio spectrum right here and audio waveform below it. I'll do both of them for the purpose of the tutorial. Drag it onto your solid, and now you'll have this little purple pink bar here, okay? Click this arrow drop down right here. And as you can see up here, there's also a little pathway to it, but I'm going to use it. I mainly use it down here because it's more neat for me, but I will do it for here since you guys will more easily see it. So you want to go to the audio layer itself, and you want to click the drop down, and you want to click the audio. So if I'm using 17 excellent choice, I want to make sure that I click that, okay? So now as you can see, I have some actual movement in my baseline because of the fact that I chose that. So obviously, this doesn't look very good, does it? No, it doesn't, Ninja. Yes, great observation. The reason being is there's a lot of tweaking you're going to need to do to it. So the first thing you want to notice is your start point. This is adjustable by these little drop downs. So you notice during the example I showed you that my drop down was all the way down here, right? So I'll do that, and I'll just move it down here. And as you can see now, it's doing the baseline in the same fashion, only it's down there. But I don't actually want it. I'm going to keep it up here so it's more clearly visible for you guys. So you can adjust that within these two palettes right here. The path is not very valuable. I don't think you should use it. Polar pathing you don't ever want to do. Just stay away from it. It basically inverts the baseline so that it's, if I show you here, it's not good. It's just basically using it on one point. Don't ever do it. So let's see here. From here, the starting frequency, if I do this, it will basically mess everything up. Starting frequency is not very valuable. I don't mess with it that much. End frequency, this is mainly just to, it's kind of, let me adjust the height. When I get to there, I'll explain this a little more. It is valuable, actually, the starting and the ending, but I don't want to get there yet. Frequency bands. So if you want a lot of it like this, you can adjust the frequency bands. But if you want to have a very little amount, maybe even some dots as your thing, you can do that. I personally like to keep it up at the mid-range, right about there-ish. So that's what I like to do. So now you want to get your height. This is the most important part. The height is how high your baseline is going to go. So as you can see here, this makes a immense difference than this, as you can see. So it's very important that you keep that at a height you're comfortable with, but not too high, because if I go like that, it's just going to look a mess, right? So you want to keep it right about stabilized. That's a little high still. Let me put it a little lower. Right about there-ish. That looks about right. So when the bass kicks in, it's not going to go all the way past the screen, but it's not at the same time bad. So let me give you a little preview here. I'll do composition, preview, RAM preview. And what it's going to basically do is render it in a fashion. And it's just going to pre-render. And I'm going to play. And that's the basic idea of what the baseline is going to do. So we've done that. Now we can do the starting and ending frequency since it'll be clearer. The starting frequency is over on the right-hand side of your screen. It's going to start higher on there. It's going to act as if this is more bass than the left, which isn't typical in a bass line, so that's why I said stay away from it. The ending frequency, however, is going to shift more of your audio off to the end. So, for example, you see how there's this opening area right here? You might want to adjust the ending frequency just a little bit so that it doesn't have that open area there. But then again, it's also manipulative so that I can just do that. And at the same time, right there, it looks much better. So again, stay away from the starting and ending frequencies as a beginner. It's not very useful. The audio duration, that's something you really just don't mess with because it's going to completely screw up your baseline. Audio offset, again, don't touch the audio offset. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. Because now, when I do the preview, take a look. If I'm not going to do a lot, just watch this. It's all messed up. It's all messed up. Look at that. That was a flat note, and now it is sky high on bass. don't mess with the offset. It's horrible. Thickness. So if I want to make it really pink and beautiful and butterfly related, I can do this, but I'm not going to do that. It's good to add a little bit of thickness, but not a lot, because that's a general rule. Softness will make it less gritty, more so flat, if you get the gist of it. I tend to keep it pretty soft. Inside colors, you can change these to however you want it. I can do it like that. And the outside color is basically your outside of the baseline color. I can do it basically like, if I wanted to make it like a green and red sort of design, I can do that. Just like that. And then now you'll see it kind of looks a little more cool. So yeah, that's how you do that. The blend overlapping colors mainly works so that if you watched, remember this, the blending overlapping colors is a long, deteriorating process of waste of time, but at the same time, it gets it so that there's this nice colorful rainbow sort of effect, so it can be useful, especially if you have colorful backgrounds. It will really go a long way. It's basically blending in with the background, but since it's black right now, there's not really any use for it, so as you can see, it's just going to turn a little more orange, because black obviously turns yellow into a darker color, which happens to be a little bit of orange. So the hue interpretation, this is how you get the rainbow effect. If I change the hue interpretation to a different color, it's going to give me a little rainbow. So it's good to play around with if you add just a little bit, like, you know, just a tad. It'll give it a little bit of a little bit color on it, so that's good. Dynamic hue phase, this is good when playing around with this sort of wheel, so that you can get, instead of that, you can get that, which is a good little look in my opinion. So let me just get rid of that. Don't want that. So now we have color symmetry. You do want to keep this on at all times, because if I take it off and then I change this and then I take the color symmetry off, it's just going to move it all the way to the right. It is actually, come to think of it, I had this confused. Sorry about that. But it is actually something you should turn on if you plan on doing dynamic hue phase, because then it's going to move the light colors to the right and the darker colors to the left, so it's very useful in making a wave if you want to have light off to the right and dark off to the left. So that's something. So then there's the different types. There's analog lines, and then there's analog dots. Don't use the analog dots. Come on, guys. No baseline you ever see has that type of effect. If you do want to do it, though, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. And I prefer to keep it at the digital. And the other, I think, final thing I'm going to show you guys is side A versus side B versus side A and B. It's very obvious what this is doing here. If I do side A, it's just going to go frontwards up, nothing moving on the bottom, which is what I prefer. Side B is basically inverted. I've never seen anyone use it like this, but it's, again, your choice. And side A and B is the second most common, basically going up and down. So yeah. And then duration averaging is basically turning it into a more wavy sort of pattern. It's useful. It's what Monstercat actually used to do for his baseline. And composite on original, always keep that checked off. So that is the main way to do an audio spectrum. So let's preview it for you guys as a full thing, 30 seconds. So there's the basic idea of the audio spectrum, which is, by the way, my favorite, I must admit, over the audio waveform. So I did a little playing around, and the original one you saw, the one I was just tinkering with in the beginning of the tutorial, that was an audio waveform, so that I could get the understanding, because I didn't actually use the audio waveform for the previous one. I used the audio spectrum. So the audio waveform is basically a less complicated, less advanced form of the audio spectrum. So you have your starting and ending positions, same. Path, same. You have displayed samples. Hold on, give me a second. I have to put this on excellent choice. Okay, so you have your displayed samples, which is basically your grid. The more you add, the more it's going to look like that. Your maximum height, obviously, adjusting the height factor. So if I play it, it's going to look like that. It's more so a right to left sort of design. So audio duration, this is just, don't touch it, please. It doesn't look good. I'm telling you guys, don't do it. It's not good. Audio offset, again, don't do it. Thickness. This is the same thing as the other one. Softness, same thing as the other one. Random seed. This just changes the way it looks. Again, I can't stand it. The inside color, we can change, obviously, if I want to make it white. I can do that. And then purple, that actually looks pretty good, I'm not going to lie. And then you have your waveform options, left and right. And your analog lines versus digital. And analog dots. So basically the same exact thing, only it's kind of a little bit less advanced in my opinion. I don't like it as much, so let me allow you to take a look at the same song on the audio waveform. Bow. So there you have it. That is the basic concept of the waveform. And with that, that concludes my tutorial, you guys. So, that's the basic idea of both waveform and spectrum. If you ever need to make a bassline, this is probably the program to go to. It is very, 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 very simple, with at the same time being able to do a lot of different things. Right now, if I wanted to drag in a new song, I could instantly do it and the bassline would change to the new song. So that's very handy. Basically, you guys, if you want to make a bassline, this is the program for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you found it useful for more day in the life videos and tutorials. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe if you're not already. Also share to Facebook and Twitter. And if you really want to help me out, do them both together. So that's all I got to say for you guys today. Ninja out.